Okay, so the fuel filter and the fuel pump are behind this cover over here, so I'm gonna remove it and we're gonna see the type of filter it is, so I can buy a replacement. So I have disassembled the cover, but things are getting from bad to worse. You can see that the rubber strips, the shock absorbers that are keeping the fuel pump in place, are destroyed and need replacing. Over here the differential is leaking. I'm gonna have to check out what is going on inside, and the worst part is that you can see that this is the undercarriage, the frame that holds the suspension in the car on the rear side, and you can see the holes and cracks around this beam, and someone obviously began to repair this thing, but they didn't finish the job. So it's nothing frightening because it is only metal, and once I start welding over here I'm gonna make this stronger than factory. This is nothing scary, nothing to be afraid of. I'm gonna repair this. Fortunately I have the other Mercedes that has the same undercarriage, so I'm gonna probably replace this at some point, but for now I'm gonna make it stronger and I'm gonna finish welding this thing, so it is gonna be okay. But this isn't the main issue. I'm gonna have to deal with this. Apparently this in the middle is the fuel filter, and that thing over there probably is some kind of regulator. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check out the number. So I'm gonna disassemble this once I get the new one, and probably I'm gonna drain the fuel. This is the fuel pump in the left with the blue stripe. Otherwise the body of the car is very good. You can see that there is no rust. This is where the cover is mounted. Otherwise there is no rust at all. It looks pristine. This is the reason that I bought this car, and it looks, there is a bit of rust on this side, but this is nothing major. This is just on the top with little bit of attention it is gonna go, no problems at all. So the body of this car is very good, which is the main goal. To have a nice body that I can work on. So let's continue working. I have bought some parts. You can see these are the rubber seals for the injectors, and they actually are a real rubber, not plastic like the ones that I have on my jets. So these are gonna be for the final set of jets that I'm gonna be installing. What I mean is that I have checked and they are not that expensive, but before jumping and buying new set of injectors as well, I want to replace them with the ones from the other Mercedes. So I will know for sure if the reason is in them, or I'm sure that these ones don't work properly. You saw how they spray one-sided, but this might be because of the amount of liquid. In my case, a bit of fuel and the spray that was the cleaning spray might not be enough to fuel the jet, and that may cause to the jet to spray one-sided, because in the very first moment when the jet opens, it sprays this nice amount of fuel, but that is when the pressure is very high, and in the lower RPMs, when the throttle position is not fully depressed, throttle pedal I mean, and it is only 1/4 or 1/3 or 1/2 of the way, then the situation is different. So before all that, I'm gonna install, as you can see, I have bought a new filter over here, and I'm gonna try to replace the one that I have to see if this is gonna make things any better. And one by one I'm gonna start with the filter, and then I'm gonna get back to the injectors, and then we are gonna continue investigating if this doesn't solve the problem. As I mentioned, there are way too many things that could be damaged and to make a mess in this system, so I'm not gonna jump to the conclusions. I'm gonna just start replacing. So let's get back to work. Well guys, there is a slight development. I actually ended up trying to drain the fuel from the fuel tank, and you can see this is almost all of the fuel. There is one more bottle that has up to here, which isn't a lot, and you can see I have used this type of bottle just to make sure there are not that many pieces, garbage and stuff like that, but apparently the fuel was not much in the tank. This is probably around 7 liters, the whole amount of fuel that I have drained, and the color is kind of weird because it is way off from what I expected. And the problem that I faced was that over here, I'm going to show, this is the hose that comes from the tank and feeds the fuel pump. You can see how large the opening is, so it should leak a lot of fuel, especially when it is that short and starts right inside of the tank. And when I took this off the pump, I was expecting to just to quickly drain the fuel, but what happened was at the beginning when I took this end of the pump, there was a lot of fuel leaking, and in a few seconds when the fuel is drained from this hose, it starts dripping around the side of the hose. It doesn't fill the whole hose properly as it should be leaking. At least I think that this thing should be drained easily and fast. It took me few minutes, if you believe, to drain this bottle, so that led me to believe that there is something wrong. So I took a piece of wire over here, metal wire, thin metal wire that is plastic to the touch, and took it through this piece of hose, and it turns out that there is filter screen on the end of the hose over here, that this hose actually screws in that filter, which was a surprise for me. So I ended up just taking 2 or 3 minutes to investigate what is going on, because I decided to just take that screen filter by using this giant wrench, because it is 46 millimeters the tip of that thing. So actually I'm not able to unscrew it, and I decided to remove the tank to see what is going on. And as I mentioned, I took a minute or two to investigate, to search online if there is a reason for me to do that. And obviously these old Mercedeses have problems when it comes to that, and it is not unusual for that screen filter to be serviced, replaced, cleaned, or to be cleaned, the tank. So I have no idea if my suspicion is correct, but anyway, I'm gonna take the time, I'm gonna remove the tank. So let's jump in beneath the car and quickly show you the position of this thing. So guys, once again, this is the fuel pump, and on this end there is that hose that I showed you that comes and feeds it, and on the other end there is the opening for the tank that actually is this is the screen filter that I'm talking about. And unfortunately I can't get this out of there I need to remove the fuel tank, but I want to do that either way because the issue might be that there is debris and rust and stuff like that that are preventing the fuel from getting out of the tank and through the screen filter and feed the pump. That means that the pump doesn't have enough fuel, that she doesn't make enough pressure. The lack of pressure results in kind of weird behavior, as you saw. It might be that this isn't the problem, but I have to be sure of that. And now I'm gonna be forced to disassemble this tank, so let's not waste more time, because there is no point of me to replace the filter. I'm gonna do that, of course, but there is no point for me to do that and not to clean the screen filter, which is the primary filter of this system. Let's just start disassembling the fuel tank and we'll see what is going to happen next. So before I start disassembling on the top, I have to remove also these two lines, which are, one of is the ventilation line and the other one is the turn line for the fuel, and I'm gonna remove them as well, so when I get on top I'm gonna be able to start disassembling the tank itself. Okay guys, finally this is the fuel tank, and the only thing that I have to remove is that connector that you see over there. It is for the fuel level gauge, and I have to remove those 4 bolts. You can see one beneath the pipe over there, 2 on each side. Have to unscrew them, and also I have to remove the cap and this rubber seal around this filling pipe, and I'm gonna be ready to extract this out of its place, so to remove the tank out of its seat. So let's get back to work. The tank is finally out. As you can see, the body is in a good condition. There's a bit of rust around that shock absorber out there, but I don't think this is a big deal. It needs, at least for now, it needs good cleaning and contamination of the rust. I think I'm gonna be able to clean it pretty well, and I don't know why, but there was water coming through the top of the shock absorber somehow, so I'm gonna have to check what is going on. Otherwise everything looks good. And here it is, the tank. Now I'm gonna position it somewhere that is a bit more comfortable for me to work, and we're gonna see what is inside of it. So guys, the good news is that it isn't that bad. Actually, I think if the car is having a lot of fuel, you can probably tell that it is kind of clogged up till here. So if there is a lot of fuel in the tank and there is enough pressure from it, and the fuel gets through all the sides, probably it is gonna be okay. But in my case, since the fuel, it was little, probably till this part over here, so she is kind of clogged up over here. You can see the screen filter, I mean, it is kind of clogged there, all this garbage over here. But the good thing is that this tank is not rusted, so it's kind of clean. This is very good. All I have to do is clean this filter because it is in good condition, and clean the inside of the tank as well. Just wash it with some petrol or some liquid and flush it out, and everything is gonna be okay, hopefully. But definitely it was lack of fuel, because this needs cleaning. So let's get to work. So I think I'm ready. I have cleaned this the best that I could. I think it is in pretty decent shape now. I used some grease remover, and first I used some brush and petrol, then some grease remover and compressed air, and you can see that now it is okay. And as it turns out, over here it is kind of weird, but there is this cap. I don't know if you can see well. Yeah, this plastic cap on top of the screen filter that is like a dome, and this thing was filled with these little pieces of debris and dust and all sorts of stuff. And the strange thing is that I can't find a different opening other the one that you can see now, and probably the fuel is getting inside through that hole, which is very strange. I don't know, probably I'm missing something, but as it turns out, I had to fish out from inside the fuel tank this piece of, I don't know if it is kind of plastic or it is paper, not sure, but this thing was inside of the fuel tank, and I think that it may be strange, but this could lead to shutting that hole and preventing the fuel from getting inside, and eventually starving the pump for petrol. So I'm lucky that I saw this thing and I was able to get it out. And otherwise the fuel tank is in very good shape. I can't show you that, sorry. I'm gonna try this way. You can see how shiny it is. I don't know how to shine the light so you can be able to see like this. You can see how shiny it is. There is nothing wrong with it, and it is very clean. So I won't waste any more time. I'm hoping that I have done a decent job, and if not, I can easily go back and repeat the process after a while. Actually, I think I'm gonna have to, because I may end up trying to respray this. For now, this is gonna be all. I'm gonna start assembling, and hopefully now everything is gonna fall into place. Well guys, I don't know how, but I actually made it worse. The new filter and the clean fuel tank have this result on this car. At least she was idling well before. Now she even don't want to idle properly. I feel like she's working on some of the cylinders is not working properly, or more than one cylinders. I don't know what happened. The fuel is fresh, everything is supposed to be right, but we'll see tomorrow.